So, Paul, many organizations implement ISO management systems, but they still fail to improve performance. Yeah. So, what I would like you to distill for us is why do organizations, or where do organizations usually break the PDCA cycle? Which of them, or at what point do they normally break this cycle?
Thank you, Ronald. I would say it will be mostly one part. It is mostly because nothing happens. When you look at most of the organizations,
Nothing
I'll give an
happens.
example of Uganda. Nothing
Uh-huh.
happens. Yes, I'll give an example of Uganda. If you look at
Mm.
someone one time shared a photo in a WhatsApp group that I think we share. There was someone lifting a load with two cranes of lower capacity, and I believe the load was actually higher capacity. And then the load toppled over and it fell.
Yes,
Then
yes, yes. I
the
remember
two
it.
cranes. Now, you ask yourself, how many times have these guys done this before? And it's a couple of times, because if they knew that this load would fall, if they had done their prior research and have the right people advise them, they wouldn't have done that. Now, what happens in most cases, especially in our country, is that when nothing happens, people become
Mm.
complacent. If you are being held accountable maybe by the nation, by the law, or by the client to do something about it, you'll do maybe your bare minimum, because you'll expect that if something is to happen, it may not happen, or the chances are very low. Now, if nothing happens, you are bound to actually break more rules and be more complacent, not to do the planning or to do the checking or to do the act. You will say, why would I invest in something that may not happen? Now,
Mm.
it's the common thing. Those don't understand risk aversion. I would say this
Mm.
is the key aspect that why people don't go into the plan, do, check, act, because nothing happens. They got complacent, and then they let everything work as it is without looking at improving the system.
I get you. So, Paul, do organizations struggle most at planning, at doing, at checking, or at acting? Where do they struggle most?
Um, okay, I had something for you regarding this, and I would like to share with you something small. So while the break is
Please.
between check and act, the stage that is most poorly executed is planning. And this is because poor planning is the root cause of many of the problems we see later. Now, I wanted to share this because it is based on statistics. One thing
Mm.
that the act phase teaches us is to use the examples of the past, the lesson learned. We have to use the lesson learned, and those the Demings and the Shewarts earlier on, they used examples of what was failing to actually improve their system. So when you look at the statistics, most of the organizations, almost the systems, do not plan in advance. Now, the planning in a nation, let's say like Uganda, we have a system in place. The OSH Act just got updated in 2020, 2025. You correct me if I'm wrong, Ronald. And you ask yourself, when was the previous act updated? I would say that was 2006, right? Now, during that
Correct.
time, would you say that there was no risk that would require the planning or the act to be updated? Those are about 14 years approximately of no change, no update. And a personal you of much experience and profession, you would always advise us during the project phase to update your documents maybe annually, the worst case, maybe biannually. So the planning phase is the one that actually faces most risk, because
Yeah.
their systems that we have in place, especially in developing countries or in the low businesses or the upcoming business, developing businesses, they do not put so much focus in the planning phase. They want to get things done right away.